Strong storms hit the Cincinnati area on Tuesday. Take a look at this west side hail from Emily and Covedale. It was, tiny hail there, dime size, maybe marble sized. It wasn't severe. To be severe hail, it needs to be an inch in diameter or bigger. But this was a strong storm that produced some hail there in Covedale. Take a look at this, the state bird of Kentucky. It's a trampoline flying in Union, Kentucky. Watch it go flying across the backyard there. Sarah sent us this video. Those things aren't tied down. Doesn't take much wind with all that surface area to get them going. And to add insult to injury, there goes Sarah's grill on the ground too. If you want to send us a picture, local12.com/chime in. Here are the peak wind gusts that we saw on Tuesday. Maysville with a gust of 53 miles per hour. That's sub-severe. 58 or greater would be considered a severe wind gust. These were all below severe limits. 52 Batavia, 51 Lebanon, Wilmington 48, Vevey, Indiana with a gust of 47 miles per hour. And there's a look at the storm reports. Lots of trees down. That was the main thing that we saw across the area in addition to those wind measurement reports. But you can see the reports of trees down fairly widespread. This is a review of radar. Why did we get the storms today? Well, a lot of factors coming into play. Number one, a cold front off to the west through Missouri to Illinois at the surface. That's a wind shift line, and it's cooler air coming in to warmer, more humid air out ahead of it. So you get storms to fire up. There's the first line we had around 1 o'clock, that first cluster coming through, the second cluster, 7, 8 o'clock, and then everything kind of weakening as it moves off to the east and as that front starts to push into the area. That's the surface. Let's take you upstairs because you need a strong jet stream to help these storms grow vertically in the atmosphere. You need lift in the atmosphere to get that. So I've put the jet stream winds on here. You'll notice one thing though, the strongest jet stream winds stayed well to our north through Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan today. So we didn't have really intense jet stream winds here. That's one of the reasons the storms weren't as intense as they could have been, because the strong jet stream wasn't over top of us like it has been in other severe weather events. So yeah, strongest winds are to our north aloft. We had enough jet stream though to produce some stronger storms. You can see how those storms kind of followed the jet stream into the area out ahead of that cold front. Notice too, they weaken as they move east of Cincinnati. Why is that? Well, has a lot to do with the instability. I'll get to that in a second. But the other thing is we've got storm energy. We call it helicity or spin in the atmosphere. Vorticity, actually. I said the wrong word. Vorticity or spin in the atmosphere. And it's like mini areas of low pressure. So this is storm relative vorticity that I painted on here. And you get these individual clusters of storms because you have these little pockets of storm relative vorticity that's moving through ahead of this front, embedded in the jet stream winds. They're little disturbances coming through, so you can see those little disturbances right out ahead of them is where you get the storms firing up. And again, that storm energy is running in the jet stream. It's like waves within the jet stream, like waves on the ocean. So that is a factor that we saw on where those clusters of storms developed. Finally, why did they weaken as they moved east? That has a lot to do with instability. Ahead of that front today, we saw a lot of instability. Green is low instability, yellow kind of medium, red is the highest. We had kind of medium instability today, feeding that first line of storms that moved through. And then notice the second line came in, but notice how the instability dropped in the green there, where it's yellow. That's where we saw the strongest storms. And then as those storms move east, they ran into more of that green. So they kind of fell apart. They lost their instability. So yes, that is why we saw the storms today. The mechanics of everything going on. You've got a cold front at the surface. You've got jet stream winds aloft pushing those storms along. Embedded with those jet stream winds, little areas of absolute vorticity or storm energy that fire up those storms, and then the storms feed off the instability. And when that goes away, poof, bam, it's gone, and the storms weaken. Hope that makes sense. Take care.